Microphone was on. Yeah, it was just the computer's microphone, not the headset, which I use, which gives you better clarity, more bang for your buck. Okay, first one, Euro. We certainly have a bit of a high test bar looking thing, and you would normally probably get pretty excited about that. But I don't see it really testing all that much at this point. The Aussie did. The Aussie had a nice high test bar off 89, you know, 2 pips shy of that, and that's a reasonable level to reverse off. Whereas the Euro hasn't, so you know, I wasn't all that convinced, even though you know, the greenback bulls are pretty strong and the Euro's bears are pretty strong. You'd expect this to continue to fall. I'm just not convinced. I think there might be a little bit more upside left in this. Um, so I certainly wouldn't be advocating going in underneath this bar. I'd want to see another lower high, lower low, and more selling to come in. So there's certainly a trade for potentially Monday, and that's what this analysis is looking at. Is suggesting that instead of a long phase two setup, looks like maybe forming a short trend continuation setup. And the email suggests a trade for Monday, and I'd have to agree that you'd be certainly not trading today on this. And from that move, it tested the 61.8. Yeah, that's a fair call. As it cycles along this trend line that you've identified, and a bit of hidden divergence there. True, it's a pretty, to me it's just pretty weak. Even if we throw the 20 on there, it may have come off the 20. Yeah. Um, I'd. Where do you draw? Where do you draw from? You draw your fib from there, as you have done, and it's almost a 61.8. But could also start around somewhere around here. We're nowhere near it. If you go right back to the last time it was on the 50, up there, miles away. So I just see a little, potentially a little bit more in this. Yes, the market got smoked overnight, but I'm not convinced. Okay, so I'm not going to advocate a trade today. I'd certainly be waiting for tomorrow to see, or Monday, to see what today does bring. Yep. Um, okay. Next one. Also the euro dollar. Sent one on Wednesday afternoon, and then followed up with another one. So let's have a look at the one that came in on Wednesday afternoon first. Continuation. Continuation. Higher highs and higher lows. Okay, it's cyclicity, so you're getting lower highs, lower lows. Phase 2 completion looks confirmed at 50 fib is round number 120 lowest 4 hour bars, and quite good. It looks like a retracement probably over, but moderate risk as this has been volatile all week, so it could bounce up again. Watch price action resistance levels noted above. Okay, so you're doing the 4 hour trade, which would have most likely cost. And convergence as indicated in my chart. I'm getting a refresher on this next week. Also questions above for mandatory horizontal if I've answered it correctly. Is that horizontal 2653? You would have to say there would have been 2653. No, I would have had the horizontal more around this area here. You were looking at getting in underneath this bar. I would have had the horizontal more across there. 2678. across here 2670. It's just pulled up here and tested it, and then you're looking at going it off it again. So that's where I would have been looking at it. And the fib, you'd have gone like that, and the 786, even if you had gone all the way back to there, the 382. But your question was on the horizontals and convergence. Okay, so convergence. There's a little bit of reversal divergence there, which is okay. And that this high is slightly higher than that high, whereas the price is slightly higher. But that's a bearish indicator, or a sell indicator. So that's okay. This convergence is not really what you're looking for. Effectively, you could even say that there's convergences from this high to this high. Is that convergence? No, that's a little hidden divergence. You just want to make sure that there's the momentum is ticking around and going in the direction that you're after. Yeah. So fib, you've got this fib, the one that the 382, which is all okay and valid. Okay, so that's where you started the trade, and then you come back with trade triggered him with 0 pips to spare, then immediately headed north. It showed no signs of abating at about 2/3 of the way to the stop loss. I closed out half the trade. Under what circumstances would you decide the trade is not working? Get out before the stop loss triggers. I was later totally stopped out. Well, quite literally, if you got in on this trade, your stop would have been possibly above these levels here, and you have this bar. Normally, if this is a reversal bar, you'd be placing trailing your stop above that. However, your stop above that would most likely be where your original stop loss was. So you didn't, if following those rules, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to amend your stop. I'll give you an example. Right? Is Aussie Swiss. I'm long on the daily time frame and have been for a few days. Yeah. It was this bar here that decided for me to get into the trade. Like you, it doesn't look like I got in, but it was by the spread of the day. We have this bar here, that's good. We have this bar here, that's good. Get this bar, that's a reversal bar. My stop was initially under here. I've moved my stop literally 50 times. It was 150, and you can see there it's now 75 pips. So I've halved my stop, thereby halved my risk after I had this reversal bar. We then get an effectively inside seller bar, and now, shit, only just missed being stopped out. So this is a case where the reversal bar, you can protect yourself going, well, shit, it's not doing what I expect it to do. And if you look at this, we're actually getting a cycle under the 50 EMA. And so it's not behaving the way I want or expecting. It's not continuing in this direction, so I need to start protecting myself. Had it been, this bar finished down here somewhere, I may not have moved it because there's no little point in saving myself 0.2%. When you've got, this is obviously a rather strong support level, and because that's the reason why I took the trade. So, however, I can save half my risk, and it looks like that's probably the best option at this stage. That's the difference between sort of going, oh well, I'm not going to move my stop. I'm going to have to wear the whole lot, because just moving it a little bit, there's just a little point in moving it a little bit. So you potentially did the right thing, and saved yourself a bit of cash on the way. So it's good. Last one. This is from the consistent trader. Lovely channel going on there. It was a nice high test bar 2 days ago. Are we going to be repeating this sort of action where we're underneath the middle of the channel, or are we going to cross it and sort of get up to 80 to the other side of the channel? That's a question. The momentum's in the 60s. I don't know what this did. This email came in a few days ago. Sorry, this email came in yesterday. Lower high, lower low. But it's now finished as a doji. Yeah, so it'd be better if that was a seller bar. You have a nice high test bar testing. We can see what it's testing. Look at all these. Yeah. And then you get a doji bar. It is a lower high, lower low, but the market finished in the middle. It's unconvincing to me. So potentially you can place a trade on that. If you've done all your analysis, look to go short around here. But, yeah, I wouldn't put a full 1%. I'd probably do 3/4, just because it's not totally convincing, and there's good strong buy day, buying, bit of selling, buying with a bit of selling, buying with a bit of selling. So there's no clear indication that the sellers are here. But there's no indication that the sellers are here. It should be present with all expectations. But yeah, no sign of it yet. So, just a sec. Sorry, guys. So yeah, Did you have some analysis on this? Yeah. So we've got here a pullback to the 50 off that last little cycle, off a support line, now resistance, targeting the 1.272. Risk reward is quite reasonable in that. So I think, what's your risk reward? Risk reward is 1 to 1.7. Is that it? Okay, if you're going to that one, I suppose that's yeah. Okay, so that's a potential trade. Being long, the BOE's out of the way. They came out last night, didn't say much. Draghi's out and trying to talk up his book, but not really getting much. He's all talk and no bite, all bark and no bite. So the next one looking at is Aussie yen. I think the yen's getting a little stronger if we look at the dollar yen. Yeah, we can see that it's clearly, even despite the US dollar strength, there's quite a bit of selling here, which is more about the yen strength and all the crap that's going on in their politics at the moment. Would suggest that this is probably going to get back down to this area here around 106, maybe even the 50 EMA. So that yen strength, I don't know how that's going to play out for the Aussie yen. Yeah. This bar here, it's engulfing, I don't know if it's bullish, I haven't calculated it, but with all this crap here, I'd want to see the tail of this engulfing bar is more to the downside than there is to the upside. So there's more. There was more interest in pushing it lower than there was higher. So just based on that, I'd be uncomfortable about trading on just on this bar. I'd want to see more, and there'd want to be pretty strong reasons for it to happen. We've got 1, 2, 3 days of selling. This is a bit of a doji, non-committal one. 4 days of selling, one buying, selling. And this downtrend. So there's not convincing to me that there's buy. Okay, there's a little bounce here, where it was all the way down here at one point and ran back up to this, but. I'd be wanting to see more of it through there, and so I'd be waiting for this bar to complete, and obviously having done that, then that's looking at pretty bearish. So you've got two touches here, looking at the third, there's this reversal divergence there in terms of low lows, but we're making higher lows in the momentum. We've got a resistance line, but not really a strong support line. And you've got a 786 fib, okay. Yeah, and this was that bar. I wouldn't be going just off this bar. I'd be wanting to wait for this bar to finish up. Okay, does that make sense, mate? And then we come to the Euro 4 hour. Nice little cycle above that line now. We're in a phase 2. Yeah, there was some selling from the US overnight. The US dollar strength, it really was. There's a potential, if this bar here finishes high, maybe looking at taking this long. What are you looking at? Trend phase 2 long trade. Yep. This is really, it shows bullish divergence, but it hasn't in the past, and only retraced a small way to the trend line. Yep. The risk reward is only one back to the EMA 50 and minor resistance line. Yep. Okay. The RSI is now at 56, so marginal for long trade. True, but that's why you go down the time frames, such as now. I mean, there's a potential hourly trade earlier through here, maybe. And going with that and seeing something like this price action here, you go, well, okay, now I'll risk 40 or 50 pips and potentially go and go for 80 pips, and 80 pips is more likely than 150, 200 pips. And again, you'll be looking at it the 4 hour, so you'll be going, well, let's hanging on to the 618 there. Risking the minor amount. Be looking at sort of, I'm not sure how many pips this is. 40 pips, 50 pips, and then you've just up to here is 80 pips, so that's 2 times your risk. But it's more likely to get up to these lows here, which is around 128.20, or even potentially 129 across here. Yeah, that sort of area. 128.70. Yeah. And that makes a risk reward more viable for you. Yeah. But I agree, the euro is a little tricky at the moment. There's the daily's telling us up, but it's got full of selling yesterday. But I think that's I don't know. I think there might be more into it, so I'll be happy to take the 4 hour long. You can get the momentum up into the 60s or 70s, and I wouldn't. I'll be looking to take it. I'm not going to be going for this yellow target here, I'll just be going for the previous high. So for 80 pips. Yep. But I need to see this bar complete, this last bar. I need to see it complete, and I need to see it strong. I need to see it. I don't want it to be like this bar. I want it to be closing preferably above the high of that bar. That was where you want it to close. And ideally you want it to close on the high like this kind of bar here. Yeah. So we can see that strong sentiment and be going with it. I don't want to be trading when if it's a bar like that, you know, or even like that where it's a higher high but it's not really convincing. Yeah. And certainly not off a doji looking bar like that. Does that make sense? Alright guys, short one for Friday. What do we got on for next week? Probably a pretty quiet week, maybe some ISMs, PMIs coming out, generally happen in the second week. All the central banks have pretty much spoken. CPI, inflation data, Muppet talking again. Yeah, so pretty much inflation data, which is big for the this lady and her group of bankers, seeing what the inflation is doing around the world. So pretty quiet, no major data like this, no major central banks. So hopefully we'll be left to the technical moves of the market. Are you looking at anything else today? Oh, not really. I'll probably have a look at the Aussie on the hourly if I can get a cycle on it. But it seems to have found a bit of minor support, so I'd rather leave that alone. What's it doing on the 4 hour? Yeah, so it's found a little bit of support here, so you could maybe expect a bit of a bounce, but the pound, I just see a bit of chop coming through. You know, there's so much confusion going on overseas. I don't expect that to sort of clear up today. So I don't want to be caught in the choppy froth. So potentially I'll just staying out of it. Have a long weekend. You guys had one last weekend. I didn't get one. Anyway, had enough of this already this week. Yeah, take a long weekend and enjoy it. Alright, guys. Thanks for your time. How many currency pairs do I look at? For the end of day trading, I look at all of them. Everything that's tradable in this list. Where's my mouse gone? Come here. In this list, but I rarely get into things like the Poland or lira. For intraday trading, I literally stick to the majors. You can get some great opportunities on some of the crosses like the pound Aussie and pound, Euro CAD, things like that. But I'd rather not trade the intraday trading on those. I prefer to stick to just the majors. That's just me. And generally the majors, I mean by Aussie, Euro, and pound. Aussie, Euro, pound, yen. Those four. Alright, that's it. My pleasure. Okay, guys. We're back again on Monday. I think the next one's on the 13th. So that's Monday. I shall chat to you then. You guys have a good weekend.